I am, standing at the door, looking back at life as it's been before, holding on to things that might have been, knowing that this day will never come again.
Hi, welcome to Soul Chat. This is Leni Risto, and my co-host this week is...
Wayne Hildebrand from Spiritus Reiki Center.
Yeah, and it's also one of our sponsors. Spiritus Reiki Center is one of our sponsors. Yeah, I guess you can come back.
Yeah,
all
thanks.
Right. Okay, and we're going to have a guest co-host that's going to come on here in a little bit, and it's April Azzolino. She is a teacher of practical spiritual living. She's going to show us how to build spiritual tools.
That's if she ever shows up. I mean, she's late as can be, but you know, they work on their own time here in Vegas, so we'll just let it go. She's actually sitting here in studio.
Right, and our other sponsor is Mr. Smith, Matt Kerner, and David Valentine.
Love those guys.
Yeah, they're great. They're great.
Look behind us; it's their work.
Yeah,
stars
that's
and
what's
all
going
that's
on.
their
Yeah,
work.
we're pretending. Actually, those of you that get to see this, the video will be out. We'll have it up on Facebook in 24 to 48 hours, and then you can get a visual picture of the two of us
and the green screen behind us.
and the green screen behind us. No, actually, it'll be cool. And this week they're putting the song underneath the owl. It's coming in stages. You know,
the one I sung.
Yeah,
good.
That's
good.
going to be cool.
That'll be fun.
Cool. But Mr. Smith, it is a promotion video and advertising. I want to say group, but it's the two of them, and they have a knack. They have a way of putting things together, and then they find people magically.
Plus, they're a lot of fun.
They're a lot of fun. They really are. And you can check out their website at IamMrSmith.com, and you can check out Spiritus Reiki Center at. I'm going to guilt you into this.
Center. Facebook. The rest of it's coming still.
Yeah, it's coming. We're working on it. This is a change. What is the picture I've got on there? It says change is a process, not an event.
That's it.
Yeah, there's been a lot of change
We don't want to rush it.
Yeah. So we're going to go right into what did I learn about myself this week. So why don't you start it off? Because I have a feeling it's probably similar to mine, and we could just have a discussion.
Mine is we talked about what did you learn this week? Mine's a relearn. What are you still learning?
Yeah,
and
there you go.
Mine is organization.
Mm-hmm.
It's the key to your spirituality, whether if you realize it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Because how can you go through life not organized, but yet you're going to spirit and saying, "Okay, I'm ready."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Did you look around your office?" Yeah, it's good. It's in big stacks.
Yeah.
Or the apartment, you know, it gets droppies, and then suddenly I look around and it's like, I got to clean this place. But the truck, the other warehouse, all of it, you know, cleaning the center has become now a priority. Because before I kind of slacked off because it wasn't my priority. But now I realize I have to get organized at the center, so it has to be a priority to make sure everything's clean and done. So,
especially when you're running two businesses.
Yeah, that's a little rough, but it's okay.
It's
a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, I got the same deal going because I've got the music business and I've got shamanic song,
yes,
which
you
is
do.
they kind of dovetail, but they're still separate. They're still separate, even though you can find them under the same website.
I know it says music and song. Isn't that the same thing? What are you trying to confuse people?
Yeah, except one of them sings old Patsy Cline songs, and the other one sings sort of uplifting, spiritual, hopefully, kind of music.
Speaking of that, while we're taking a quick thing here, what happened with that CD you're making? How's it going? The one with the intro, the Shaman Journeys. It's amazing.
We're working on it.
Okay.
We're working on it. It's one of those things of when the spirit moves you kind of things, you know. Yeah. And there's this thing that you have to be able to sing if you're a singer.
Oh.
I've only been able to sing the last couple of days.
I could have set in for you.
Yeah, we're going to move on now. We're going to go further. Yeah, I am working on one of those. In fact, I own shamanicsong.com, and what I put on there is pictures and sounds that represent spirituality. Not a whole lot of words. I try and keep the words out of it because I think we get lost in it sometimes.
Neptune Rising.
Rising.
Amazing CD. That one's got to get up for sale.
He's trying to elevate himself here.
It's got to get up for sale because that's just... Maybe I had it stored for a while, but now I listen to it all the time.
I only gave it away once before you got another copy.
Yeah, well, I know she did. She gave away my copy. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's
good.
Well, what I learned is it's kind of a relearn too. It's about slowing down. I realized that this 10-day, this 10-day thing I've been through with this cold and trying to. If anybody tuned in last week, you heard me singing or talking three voices
at one time.
At one time, yeah. So Wayne managed to cover up for me, but it's been a process. And finally, on Monday, actually, I went to the doctor on Sunday, and he said it's 3 days, nothing. So this is the third day I'm here.
Wow.
That's it. You know, but for 2 days, literally didn't do anything, and that's hard for me. That's it's like, oh, I should go do this. Oh, no, I should go do this, and then I would go to do it, get up and do it, and something would happen, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I noticed every time I called you were at home. You stayed home. You did good.
Yeah. You said, "Are you doing a whole lot of nothing today?" And I went, yeah.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. No, I've been wanting the computer working, and I bet.
Yeah. I got a little bit of that done, not a lot, but got caught up in some TV watching, which I don't do a whole great amount of. Yeah. But it was good, and it's interesting watching how cable and the internet, and it's all changing. I was thinking about when we were kids. Remember when you were a kid?
Yeah,
Long time ago.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. We the things we used to watch, it was so simple. It was so simple, you know, and we only had 3 channels where I lived.
Yep.
You know,
and no remote. You had to get up
and no remote. You had to get up and
I
change
was the changer.
channel.
I was the middle child, so I was the changer.
Right. And things were slower then.
Yeah.
They were slower
Sure
then.
was.
Things didn't happen. And people say, "Oh, do you remember the old rotary phones?" And not only that, we had an 8-person party line.
Yep. My parents had that up in Idaho when they moved there.
Yeah.
So
but now we have this thing in our hand, and the world we've just sped things up so much. I actually stood outside on my patio last night and just watched the lights for about 5 minutes. I don't do that. And I got the fountain going again so I could sit out there.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So, the sound of water.
Well, if anybody wants to call in and be our first call-inner, we're looking for you. The first one to call in, 702-483-4444. It's 702-483-4444.
You got that down pretty good.
I just wanted to kind of play with it. First time I'm going to do it in Spanish. Just to rattle up.
So organization and slowing down really goes together, because part of the reason I get disorganized is I run in the door, drop stuff on the table, turn around and run off to do something else. And at the end of the week, there it is.
What I just did. Left the center, ran home, changed shirts, combed the hair, brushed the teeth, and shot right back out again. So there's a shirt laying somewhere. I'm not sure where I dropped it, but there's a shirt there somewhere.
Yeah.
It's usually on the couch or the kitchen table. It's
but
one
that's
or the
the key to the organization, I think, is to slow down, because part of the reason I don't like to do it is because it's all those little details. I have to think about all those little details, and that means I got to stop and slow down.
You notice how when we get injuries, like my neck injury this week, your cold and your knee, we slow down.
We do.
I actually went home, took a nap yesterday for like an hour in the middle of the day.
Yeah, you've been doing that a lot.
Yeah, I've been trying to catch them in here now and then, you know, fighting with the diabetes and everything. I'm trying to get it all to work. So, yeah, seems to work for me. So
slowing down an organization, our partners. They really, truly are.
That's why we're on the air together.
That's right. That's right. Because one can say, I know what you're doing. I've seen that before. Well, we're going to take a 2-minute break, and we will be back, and we're going to talk about something else, and then April's going to come on after our next break.
Sounds perfect.
All right.
We'll be back.
See y'all. We'll be back. Hi, this is Lainey Risto. Welcome back to Soul Chat, and you're with me and
Wayne Hildebrand. And if you wish to call in and talk to either one of us, we're still waiting for our first caller ever. We'll just keep waiting. 702-483-4444. 702-483-4444.
Yep. And joining us after the next break, for those of you that have watched, because we've been putting messages out, you know, April, she said, "Oh, I'm so excited," you know, because I put one out on Facebook.
Did you?
Yep.
I should read that.
You should look more often, because you show up every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. April Azzolino is going to join us after our next break, and we're going to talk about spiritual
I'm just impressed
tools.
you get her name right.
I sang in Italian for
Is
like
that what it
10
was?
years. Yeah, it's
I'm
easy.
impressed, because that's impressive. Hey, I got a phone call, but it's on my phone.
All right, so we're going to talk about the meaning of the smallest gifts and things that happen in our life. Like,
can I get you a Ricola?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
No. And how this came about, and Wayne actually knows about this because I told him yesterday. One of the things is the smallest gifts, the smallest things can happen, and if we're not careful, if we don't slow down, we miss them.
Right.
And because I was home the last couple of days, not normally I'd be out, running around, running here, doing this and doing that. I got a phone call from a woman I haven't really talked to in about probably about 4 or 5 years. I've had some interaction with her on Facebook and texting, and she actually rented a room for me for a while when I had the bigger house. She stayed in town for a while on a job, and she called me and she said, my mom, who's in her late 80s, has passed away. Or no, she's not passed away, she's passing away. But she had a stroke, and in 5 days, in the last 5 days, she's not been able to swallow, but she's comfortable and she's an alert. And she had given her 2 of my CDs years ago as a present. And apparently she listened in the last 3 or 4 years. She has listened every night before she goes to bed. She's listened to those 2 CDs. So Julia called me and said, would you be willing to sing to my mom over the phone? And I said, yeah, and I got goosebumps again. If I had not been home, and I had to kind of roll with it because she's napping and she's waking up and whatever. And so we set a time, and she called me. And she said, well, she didn't tell me her mother was on oxygen. She said, we've turned the oxygen machine off. And I went, no, don't do that. Not yet. Yeah. But it's support oxygen, and it's for the noise factor.
So she wasn't like on the movie Airplane with...
No, she wasn't. And so she says she can't speak. She can't swallow. She can't speak, but she's alert. And I asked her if she wanted you to sing to her, and she said, yeah. So I sang a song to her. And then I had a little bit of voice left. And I said, well, I'd like to sing one more that I usually sing in situations like that. So I'm going to sing it real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
About time. They want to hear you.
Yeah. So this is a song that's actually for people, and it's about crossing over. It's about going from one place to another, and you need support, and that's what it is. So it goes like this. Like a ship in the harbor, like a mother and child, like a light in the darkness, I'll hold you a while. We'll rock on the water, and I'll cradle you deep, and I'll hold you while angels sing you to sleep. And apparently, in the background, it was all quiet, and I heard her mom say, thank you. She got enough energy.
She spoke.
She spoke.
Wow.
If I had not been home to be able to give what I could give, and the song's not very long, if I hadn't had that moment, what would I have missed?
Wow.
The connection.
If you weren't standing next to bed, you had no place to pass out at.
No.
That would have been enough. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, but look at it wasn't planned. I had no idea it was coming. I didn't know it was coming until the morning. Yep. So what about you? What smallest things?
The smallest gift I get is my 2 granddaughters, Haley and Maddie. They'll FaceTime me about 9:30 at night when I'm getting home from the center, and so they can sit there and talk to me on the phone, and watch me, and they watch them dance, and that's one of those little gifts that I get 2 or 3 times a week.
And people that are getting ready to cross, if you talk to them, and we talked about this earlier this week, we've got a situation that's coming up.
We do.
We will, the things that they talk about are those 2 things. Yeah. Those are the memorable things in your life. And look, they don't take very long. They're just the smallest things. We have a caller.
Yay, first caller ever. Hey, Bob, welcome to Soul Chat.
Hi there. How's it going?
Good. Do we know you?
I don't think so. I mean,
good.
I've been following the show for about 5 years, and we're up in the San Francisco Bay Area. And the show. Oh, I gave it away, didn't I? I haven't been following the show for 5 years. It hasn't been around for 5 years.
Well, that's all right. I liked it. Maybe you have, and just it's been in spirit. I don't know.
Maybe.
I think he changed his name.
Well, anyway, Lainey, the song was beautiful, and I was just enjoying that while I was on hold. And I wanted to be the first caller ever because you are my first radio sponsor ever, and that's just really cool.
Yeah, we know who this is.
You gave it away.
How you doing, Matt?
I'm really good. David and I are here in the office. Woo!
Yeah,
hey, David.
He was going to give you something free, but now because he knows who you are, he's going to give it to... Oh, David's in the background?
Yep, David's in the background.
Yes, David's here too. Yeah, but Matt doesn't let me listen to the show. Apparently, I don't let him listen to the show. Great, and very, very, very proud of you guys.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks, Matt.
It's so great to we miss you guys. When are you coming back?
Hopefully soon.
Yeah,
we're gonna make another trip out there, and we'll get together and build up Soul Chat. Vegas On Net Radio is rocking it.
Yeah,
we're missing David's snacks, his popcorn, his
yeah. We ate
corn
those in about 2 days. Thanks, David. By the way, I don't know how to say this, but it's internet radio, so I can say it anyway. There's an article of clothing in the back seat of my car, and nobody's claiming it. Is anybody missing an article of clothing?
I'm not sure. I can ask.
Yeah. So we're going to, thanks for calling in, Matt. We're going to go because we're getting ready to have April come on. So,
okay, well, good luck. All of our blessings to you up there, and we'll talk to you very soon. Okay, could you plug us, please?
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
And okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, we're going to take another break, and coming off this break, you get to meet April Azzolino, teacher of practical spiritual living, and we're going to try and put some spiritual tools in Wayne's toolbox.
I need them.
You do. See you in a few.
Hi, welcome back to Soul Chat. I'm Wayne Hildebrand. My co-host today is
Lainey Risto.
And my second co-host is
April Azzolino.
I love this. I'm surrounded by beautiful women. What more could a guy want?
He's such a schmooze.
I'm right in the middle of all this. Okay, well, we're going to introduce April in just a second here, but if you want to call in, 702-483-4444. We're still looking for our real first caller. 702-483-4444. Don't we have anybody out there?
It's the sandwich that they're looking at. It's the filling in the sandwich.
Is that what it is?
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
good
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. It's coming. We have April Azzolino, who is a teacher at Spiritus Reiki Center and elsewhere. You teach elsewhere as well.
I've been teaching across Las Vegas Valley and other states for practical spiritual living for about 3 years now. I use resources from a spiritual college called Americana Leadership College, a Wayshowers College of Spiritual Developments, and so I've gathered these tools from that college that we're going to talk about today.
Well, just take a couple of minutes and tell us how you got there, because you used to be a
hairdresser.
A hairdresser, yeah.
Me too.
You need it.
Yeah.
So, a little bit about my background. For about 30-some years now, I've been a hairstylist, and about 7 years ago, I met someone who introduced me to the Inner Peace Movement, a department of the Americana Leadership College that helps people understand that they have a team of angels and how your spiritual sensitivity works, or you could say your ESP, because a lot of people understand that, and how this is for you. And it really got me curious, because I thought I was sensitive, but I really just didn't understand it.
Was there something that happened? Was there anything that happened in life that suddenly you just didn't wake up one morning and go, gee, I want to be more sensitive, or I want to look at that? Usually there's something that leads us on our path.
I think I've always had, I was raised in a traditional religious background, but always read all those kind of non-traditional books. As a matter of fact, the person that introduced me to the Inner Peace Movement, she would come to me every week for a blow dry. And she says, April, every week I see you, and this is like 2 years later, and you always have these metaphysical books, from all the famous authors that are out there. She goes, but I have something that I can help you with, like, the experience.
Isn't that interesting? And so when did that happen?
That was around 06.
06.
Yeah,
okay.
It's been a while. And she goes, I have this, what we call, she goes, I've learned this through the Inner Peace Movement. It's an orientation profile. It'll introduce you to your team of angels, because we all have a team, and how that works for you, how you might get a sense or a presence when they're around you, a vibration, and how your spiritual sensitivity works. And we all have this. One way is a primary way, and you could say the other three follow suit, kind of like a, let me see, like the stick shift of a car. You have your first gear, your second gear, your third gear, and your fourth gear. Well, it's really good to understand how your gears work. When you understand,
That's my problem.
I'm always in reverse. That's why
I'm always in
lost.
neutral. I'm in neutral trying to figure out where I'm going next. Yeah.
So, because you're getting all this information from the universe and from your angels, and we all work differently. So, one gear is the gift of prophecy. And that's someone who would have an inner knowing about things. They make great executives. They can sense when things are coming, or they might have dreams that are that come true. It's part of their characteristics. When in balance, we have the out of balance portion too, but we won't talk about that today.
Not today.
And there's the gift of feeling, or you could say empathic. That's a big word today. Well, the person, if that's their first gear, they'll like manual dexterity. They'll like to be a little bit more social. Have those feelers at your parties.
So it sounds like you're saying everybody's gear is different. If
Everybody's
the order
gear
is different.
Yeah. One gift is primary. It'd be the way that spirit works through you. So
It's
you'll
interesting.
pick up.
It's interesting because, are you familiar with NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming?
Yes, I am.
It kind of follows that pattern because everybody takes in information differently. You're talking from a spiritual level.
From a spiritual
And we're
point.
talking, NLP works from how do you take information in from the real world, and it kind of organizes like that. Because I'm a sensor first. I would say probably if I took your profile, that's primarily the way I operate.
We can do that for you, Lainey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Will that get me to slow down?
Well, it might give you a
Will it get him
a
organized?
better sense of how your gears work. So, say if you're an intuitive is a person that is a great leader. They like a lot of fairness. They have inner hearing. This is how spirit works through them, through that inner hearing gift. So, or the gift of vision, or you might say clairvoyance. You hear people say clairvoyance. They get mental pictures in their mind's eye.
Right.
That's the download, you could say. So we all have all of these gears,
Right, yeah.
But one's your primary way of working. So you're receiving and processing and processing and processing. Most people work out of those first two gears. So it's really good to understand how your gifts work, because you're gifted, and everyone is gifted on the planet.
So how long does this profile take?
You did
Takes
hear
about
it
an
say
hour.
Everyone's gifted. That includes me.
That includes
Everyone's
you too,
gifted.
Wayne. You are
Thanks.
very gifted.
Thanks. Louder. Okay,
I'm not going to say a word
Carry
on
on.
that. How long does it take to
It
do
takes
this?
about an hour.
Okay, and what kind? Can you give us a couple of questions? Give them to him.
Questions. So, well,
Like, what would be a question
so
that
you-
would be asked?
what would be really a question? What we'll do is we'll just find out through spirit how your gift order works for you.
Oh.
And how do you do that?
Well, I've been trained by the Americana Leadership College. It's about a 12-hour course. You can take that course too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a bachelor's and a whole lot of life. I'm done.
But it's just a training.
Yeah.
I took a training, and so it's really good to find out how your gifts work, so you can start working with your team of angels, and start getting that sensory of how they're working with you. Do you ever get chills?
Oh, everybody gets
So
chills.
you just
yeah.
talked about it a few minutes ago,
Yep.
right? You get the chills or the goosebumps, that warm glow. That's that indication that your guides are coming close to you. They want you to pay attention. They're sensing something, because they can't communicate in words. So I help a person have a two-way communication system, working with their angels and understanding their gifts. It's two very important keys in life.
Wow.
Because you can go.
You could go to college. Wayne.
working. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
okay.
can come to the Americana Leadership College with me, and
There you go.
yeah, we can have two facilitators at Spirit Us Reiki
Yeah,
Center.
I think one's enough. You're good. I don't want to compete.
No,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
no
yeah.
competition on the planet.
I know because
Yeah.
you got it down. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
this is a tool, just a tool, like an entry-level tool to help a person understand they have a team of angels, their own team that's working through them on a daily basis. We get probably 90 downloads from my angels every day, but it's like, are we listening? So we'll help you understand.
I only got 3.
You
I
got
think
3.
I missed 87 of them.
You probably had a hunch this morning. It was like, oh, what is that? So it's that incoming messages that our guides gives us.
Wow.
So
I didn't
this
know
just
that.
really helps a person tune in.
So I'm curious,
This
how
is
do you
one tool.
how do you interact with the guides and angels to have them to let them know how you're programmed or how you're
They
your
already
gears-
know how I'm programmed.
Right, but how do you make the leap from here to them? Do you do like in my case in shamanic healing, we use a journey. It's an ancient meditation. You've been in the circle. You know how that works.
Yeah, you have great circles.
So what's the tool that you use to get that? Besides,
Well-
you have a profile. I'm just trying to understand how the profile works.
So the profile, it just is like you could say an assessment tool, helping an individual understand how their gears work and their team of angels, and then I help them learn a two-way communication process. Can't teach that today, but I do that in the profile.
Okay.
Really, your guides, working with them is staying relaxed in life. And when I'm not relaxed in life, I can't get my information or my downloads or pay attention.
Slowing down.
So
getting
it's
organized.
slowing down. So I use a spiritual cleansing technique. That's one tool that I teach in that profile when I give it to a person. So when I cleanse, I'm cleansing my aura. We all have an aura. So it's electromagnetic field. And so I probably do that 100 times a day, whether I'm doing it physically or mentally. And there's a lot of cleansing processes on the planet. You've probably, Reiki has several, right? So this is just a tool that I use through the college. So it's like that slow down. Helps me stay center and back on my pivot. So I cleanse myself. And so I can start understanding myself and those downloads that my angels are giving me, or those hunches or those chills. When I'm not relaxed, I don't get my chills or my goosebumps. So it helps me keep that open communication going.
Okay.
So that's
Wow.
one tool that I do use for myself,
Very good.
working with my guides.
So one of the tools is a profile.
One of the tools is called the orientation profile.
Okay.
That I help an individual understand that they have their own team of angels and how their spiritual sensitivity, or you could say their psychic, so in other words, sensitivity, works for them. And then I show them that spiritual cleansing technique. And then I help them learn a two-way communication process so that they can start working within themselves. So it's a really coaching session.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's a one-on-one professional coaching session for the individual, so that it starts working from the inside and not the outside. So I get all my answers within myself.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot. Wayne and I have talked a lot. The real healing happens from the inside out.
That's right. So I help you start working on that two-way communication system, understanding how your guides are working with you, and they're working with you whether you realize it or not. Yeah, but now you'll just be more conscious, right?
And aware.
And aware.
Right.
We're talking a lot about being conscious today, right? So
Yeah,
that's
no kidding. We're going to
bringing our
take
consciousness up.
we're going to take a break. We're going to take another 2-minute break, and we will be back.
Wait, we could do 702-483-4444, 702-48. I want to get a phone call.
I know. You're
702-483-4444. Take it away, Lauren.
Yeah. Hi, this is Lainey Risto, and on my right is
Wayne Hildebrand from Spiritus Reiki Center. I get to sit in here once in a while.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, and down clear on the far right from me is
Azzolino.
Yeah. And we are talking about spiritual tools in your toolbox. And on
She's got a lot of them.
She's got a lot of tools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at mine. My toolbox looks empty. I'm kidding.
And we've talked about a profile, an orientation profile. We talked about a cleansing process. What was the third thing you said? Because I've already forgotten it.
Understanding your sensitivity, your spiritual sensitivity,
Right.
and how your team of angels and how you're getting those universal messages and how they're coming through to you. So it's good to know your psychic sensitivity
Right.
and how that
Not
works.
everybody has the chills. I get the chills.
A lot of people get the chills; they just don't recognize them, and they don't
Right.
equate it, with their, state of being at that
Right.
moment. That, oh, this is my guidance. We've all had probably situations where you got the chills and you didn't realize it was like a hunch. Did you ever get a hunch on something or a chill, and you were like, "What was that? What does that mean?" Well, that's like your team of angels giving you that, inner knowing or inner feeling or inner seeing. Or
Perfect.
inner hearing. like, oh, that's what I need to do right now for myself. Can you think of a time when you had like a chill and a hunch?
Oh, it's happened for me since I was a kid. I mean, I couldn't tell you the first time it happened, but I thought everybody had them.
Yeah.
I thought everybody knew where it was coming from. I thought everybody,
they're all getting them. They're just not realizing it's coming through their angels or their inner guidance, and how that's working for them. So it's really good to know and understand, like your spiritual sensitivity.
Do you ever have anybody come in that, how can I say this? They've never really looked at it, but something has brought them there, but they're kind of objectionable to what you're talking about? Like, have you ever had anybody come in and say, yeah, it's a hunch, but I'm not sure I believe in angels, and yet they're there, so something has brought them there. You know what I'm talking about?
Most people who would come to see me, pretty conscious about, like, they're just needing to understand how their sensitivity is working. They're already getting it. They've read a lot of books. Even like myself, I was reading a lot of books, but I couldn't put experience to it. And so when I got my first orientation profile, it helped me finally understand, like, my gift, or I'm a prophetic feeler. I get a lot of inner knowings. I get things, maybe a couple of months in advance, and then it happens. I go, I knew that. And then, that feeling gift of myself, I get in my sensitivity. Something just doesn't feel right. I can walk into a party and be like, oh, what is that? Well, sometimes that's not me.
Yeah.
I'm just picking up through other people. Or if you're an intuitive, you might get an inner hearing. I have a lot of friends who are intuitive first, and they're getting a lot of words and phrases from the universe, their guides, or that gift of vision. One of my friends is a visionary, and she gets a lot of symbols. She says it's like guidance working through her mind. It's like a movie.
Well, that would be Wayne.
Yeah, that would be Wayne.
It's a whole different video.
He's probably a very high visionary.
He is
That's
very
probably
visual.
one of his first or two gifts. So it's good to know how your gifts work and what order, because we all work so differently. If you're an intuitive visionary, you're getting an inner hearing, and then you're processing through your visionary gift. Or if you're a feeler visionary, you're getting a feeling.
See, a visual for me
And then you're
is the
seeing
last
something
thing.
in your mind's eye.
Yeah, visual for me is the last thing that kicks in.
So
And it's rare.
So
it's not happening. It doesn't happen a lot.
It's happening more and
So
more.
you have them all,
know.
but it's good to know.
I'm going, I'm
how
around
that
this guy
works.
enough. I'm
wearing
going,
it
what's
off. You're
this?
getting
What's
visuals
happening?
now.
Yeah.
And then, so you can start your communication or understand when your angels are working through you. You're like, oh, I got an inner hearing, and that my guides are working with me in a certain way, and they want me to understand things.
That's the hardest part, is understanding when they're talking to you.
Yeah.
And what that cue is. I mean, it took me a long time. I mean, the chills I got right away, but the other cues they give,
So
that they're trying to tell me something. Now it's like electrical twinge in my fingers when I'm working on somebody as to where the spot is. It's like electrical twinge. They're trying to show me where things are. So it's like a whole different. This just started like a month ago, where it's starting. But yeah, the tools are totally different for everybody, and the hardest is to recognize them.
Yeah.
Which ones works, which one they're showing you.
And it's interesting because we mentioned empathic, and that's a big buzzword right now.
Big
we hear
buzzword.
a
That's
lot.
a new
of-
word.
Yeah, and I have an issue with it sometimes because I think sometimes they feel like they're victims because they're empathic, and it's a real gift. And I believe everybody's empathic.
Well, we
It's-
all have it, right?
Yeah,
It could
right.
be your fourth gear, you could say. It could be your second gear or your first gear. You have that in your sensitivity. But if it's your first gear, you'll pick up a lot of empaths. Learning the spiritual cleansing technique could really help them and bring them back to center.
Have you seen a lot of what the empaths that we're talking about? So if people are listening in and they're not really sure what that is, in my world, the way I see it is that you can either have these little tiny antennas, or you can have this whole rack of antlers that is picking up everything all at once, and it's overwhelming, and people will get physically ill because they don't know how to take that information in. Or I've had the experience of going to a grocery store or a mall, and turning around and walking and going home because I'm just not set that day to deal with all that information that's coming in. So
That can happen, yeah.
Yeah.
I understand. I'm a prophetic feeler, so my feeling gift is second. So my sensitivity, what really helps me is to keep myself grounded, is spiritually cleansing myself a lot. And that way I can go anywhere. I can move anywhere.
Right.
I move all over. I can go to Walmart. It doesn't happen because now I've been cleansing my aura in this tool, this technique that I teach for so long that things kind of bounce off. I might understand it, but it can bounce away. So
Yeah.
that spiritual cleansing technique can really help an empath.
Right.
Get them so that they don't have to absorb.
So is there
all of that.
anything in your toolbox, since we're talking about empaths, that helps them understand this is my energy, this is not my energy? You know what I'm saying? Because many times that's an issue with an empath. They think what they're feeling is theirs and
Their
it's not.
depression, that's their depression, or
Right.
that's
Well,
their headache.
I always like to say and ask, what's me and what's not me? I mean, what's me and what's not me?
So you're asking yourself a question.
Yeah, I'm
and are you
asking my
asking your
question.
guides and teachers, or what are you doing?
I'm asking myself, what's me and what's not me? Maybe that headache, I was feeling so joyous when I walked into the room. And then a couple of minutes later, maybe I, pick up something. I can just internally cleanse myself and then say, wait a minute. What's me and what's not me? Oh. And you might hear, the guy in the next room going, oh, I have a stomach ache. You realize you're so empathic that you maybe just picked up his vibe.
Right.
Like a vibe. You just picked it up because that's, in that spiritual sensitivity. So cleansing really helps. Doing a lot every day, so you just kind of don't have to pick up everybody's
Right.
vibration, right? Because we're all emanating something out there. And so that's a really good thing to understand.
I think all the healing modalities, if you're really focused on them, is that's the process. Because I used to be a lot more sensitive to somebody else's energy, in that I would take it on than I am now.
You learn more how to block it.
Yeah. But I'm like you. I have a process that I do where I would rather, I call it's expanding my own light, so it's out there, so that bouncing off thing. The only thing that's going to get to me is if my light isn't, if it's not expanded, if I'm sick, like I've been. That's how I got this cold, is I just pushed it too hard. He watched. He saw it happen.
Yep.
Did a 2-day workshop, and then we started the show, and it just, and I had my doors open. I wasn't doing what I usually do, and that's how I picked up a cold, because it was. Now, I can go into Walmart now. I never used to like to go into Walmart. I still don't like the parking lot, but but that's a choice on my part. I just don't.
Are they a sponsor of this show, by the
No.
way? Well, they should be.
No, they're not ever going to be. a
We've
sponsor.
mentioned them 4 times now.
Okay, we're going to go back. Spiritist Reiki Center. Did I say our sponsors were Spiritist Reiki Center and Mr. Smith?
Mr. Smith would like you to say the whole thing, because he was in
Ultimate
the background yelling, "Can
possibilities.
you talk more about us?
I'm
Talk
talking-
more about
yeah,
so-
no. Yeah, they're going
Okay.
to call in again and say, what are you doing,
Yeah, how
Wayne?"
come you guys don't speak to us?
So back on the empathic thing, because I've known people. I met a woman not long ago who was a dancer, of all things, a ballroom dancer. And that means she's in the entertainment world. And people think if you're in an entertainment world that you're an extrovert, or that you can handle all kinds of energy. And that's not necessarily so. I spent a lot of years on stage singing because I could disappear, believe it or not, internally. I could, yeah, Beth's over there nodding her head. I could literally let the music come up, take that cleansing breath to start singing, and I'm gone. I'm in another world, So this woman was a ballroom dancer, and she physically was ill. She came to a healing circle one night. I think it was about 2 years ago. She said, "Oh, I really want to talk to you, but it's so hard for me to go places." I still haven't heard from her.
Yeah, she needs some
wow.
tools for her toolbox.
Yeah.
So she starts, able to go out in the world and do those things.
Right.
And that's an important thing. And understanding her own gift order and working with her team of angels and spiritual cleansing would probably pull her back to center
Yeah.
and help her go, okay, what's me, what's not me? That's not my ownership.
And what's interesting, I find, with people that have that kind of reaction, especially if they've lived with it for many years, it's hard for them to imagine, to visually understand, like we've worked with some
Right.
clients, getting them to understand what life can look like without it. That's an interesting process, because if they can't imagine it, if they believe that this is the only way it's going to be, it's really hard to remove that. At least that's what I find. So there's a certain amount of, by the time they walk through the door to see you, some part of them has said, I want to make a change somehow.
Oh yeah, most people who come through my door they're already there. They're now just looking for a little self-understanding, and that's why the orientation profile and showing them that cleansing process and two-way communication, they finally get the tool, because they've been everywhere else, and they're like, this is it, this is what I want, I'm learning. It's just, I like to call it the blueprint of the soul. They're finally now getting some self-understanding for themselves.
Yeah.
So it just makes it like a pinpoint.
Well, and in this day and age, too, we have so many screens that we're looking at. We've talked about that. There's so many computers and television screens and the phone screens, and there's a lot that's happening that we can disconnect really easily from our spirituality. So it's interesting, because I think people tend to live in their heads. And when they do, it sounds like what the tools that you have and the stuff that you can teach them and the way to go about it, it's a really good place to start.
Gets them out of their head.
Yeah.
A great place to begin.
Yeah.
Understanding yourself, because it's really self-understanding. When I can understand myself, I can understand the world.
That's right.
But I start with me first. So the orientation profile will do that for an individual, so they have like, oh, I got my hammer now.
Okay.
In my toolbox.
Well, we're going to take another break, and then we're going to come back and we'll get some information, so if people are interested, they can find out how
We're
they
taking
can.
a 1 minute?
Yeah,
30
we'll
second?
take
What are you taking?
a 1 minute break. We're going to take a 1 minute break, and then we'll be back.
See you in a moment. Hi, and welcome back to Soul Chat. Thanks for joining us today. If you're wishing to call in, our phone number will be 702-483-4444. Hopefully we get it out there where people will start listening to this thing live.
Yeah, he's having an identity crisis.
I
so
am
somebody
having an
take
identity
pity
crisis.
On Wayne and
Somebody,
call in, will
somebody.
you? Yeah. I'm
So-
going to go in the next room and call in. I'll have Beth go in the next
I've
room
got
and
my
call
phone
in.
dialed already.
Okay.
You two be talking, I'll go
Yeah.
onto the desk.
Yeah. I'm Lainey Risto, and we've had the pleasure of talking to April Azzolino, who is a teacher at Spiritus Reiki Center.
Amongst others.
Amongst others, yeah. So, April, what's going on right now? Tell us real quickly the classes that you have right now.
Yeah, especially the ones you have closed right now. What is that class, and when are you going to reopen it again?
I have an intuitive and spiritual development class going on right now, and it's a beautiful study group that is developed from the Americana Leadership College. It helps a person understand how these intuitive gifts work, and really going deep in their spiritual self. So there's like getting a lot of tools. There's a meditation. We do a lot of energy techniques that the college has developed, and so they start beginning to understand their energy and how their energy works. So lots and lots, group cleansing, spiritual cleansing, environmental cleansing, lots of tools, understanding intuitive impressions, because we're getting intuitive impressions all the time, but now there's a tool for that.
So when will you start that again?
Well, probably, I'm going to talk to Wayne about that.
Okay.
I guess I have to get another one on the calendar, because this one's going really well. They're getting so much out of it.
This is a 12-week course?
It's a 12-week course. So,
And how much is it?
It's $10 and
A time.
A time.
A time.
Yes, and then we have some study books. So, but
And those are separate? You buy those separately?
those are separate.
What's really great is you don't have to pay $120 up front.
Right.
It's $10
No,
a
every
class.
week you can come to class.
Plus the
and
study books you want to get anyway, because you
it's
want that.
2 hours, and it's a community study group. So it's really going within yourself and understanding what's true for you in this study group. But I also have a class coming up February 27th. It's called Exploring the Fifth Dimension.
Oh, cool.
And the unconscious mind. And so you're going to understand the energies that are around the planet and how they can affect you.
Right.
And it's a beautiful class. It's about 3 hours. It's $40. It's 10 a.m. to like 1 o'clock, I think.
Great.
So February 27th at Spiritus Reiki Center.
It's 4170 South Decatur Boulevard, Suite D9.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry.
April, it's been great having you on the show. Thanks for coming and explaining that. I have a better idea what you do now. We've talked in bits and pieces, you know.
Well, thank you, Lainey, for
Wait,
having me.
you understand what she does?
Yeah.
I still don't
I
understand why
know.
she
That's why you're sitting in the middle.
I hope people understand themselves.
They do.
There we go.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is a project. This is
Yeah.
a project right here.
I
Yeah.
go slow.
So tomorrow night. We're on Wednesdays
Yeah,
now.
tomorrow
aren't we?
night, Spiritus Reiki Center, the weekly Reiki share. So you come down from 6:30 to 8:30 and get your Reiki on. How do you like that?
Get your Reiki on.
I'm trying
Yeah.
something cool now.
Yeah.
Dudes.
I'm Lainey Risto, and I'm a shamanic healer. And on the 22nd, which is next Monday night at 6:30 Pacific time, 6:30 to 9, we are going to have a full moon ceremony.
Those are the greatest thing ever. You
They're
come out for
really
the full moon
interesting, and they're
ceremonies.
always different for everybody, including me. I never know how it's going to happen because I go through, because I'm a shamanic healer and I practice the Nordic practices, I merge with the spirit of the moon and allow the moon to come through and speak to people. People are going to say, well, that woman's a little nuts, but you have to be to do this work, you know?
Yes, she is.
So, yeah. So you can get a healing, a message, or a blessing, and it's been well received.
It's
you know?
$20 for the evening, and
Yep.
we did the $20 charge because she used to do it as a love donation,
Yeah.
but so many people just came and could care less about it. They were just there.
they were curious,
Just
and we
another-
want
yeah,
people
okay,
that are
we want
coming
people
with
that
intention.
know
Yeah.
what they want. And
And then 2 days later, on the 24th, I'm going to have a healing circle next Wednesday night. That would be a week from tonight.
oh, nice.
7 to 9.
Can I
yeah.
come?
Yeah, you can come.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I was going to say that I am going to be teaching an ancestral workshop for 2 days, the second weekend of March, where if you're interested.
This is going to be great.
And it's probably small, but it's fine. I love it when it's a smaller group.
She says that and they end up with 15, 18 people.
Yeah, something like that. So
So-
if you're interested in your ancestors, you always wanted to talk to your great-great-great-great-grandmother or grandfather and find out what they know, because they are waiting. They are part of the guides
Two-day
and angels.
workshop?
2-day workshap, yeah.
All day?
Saturday and Sunday, yeah. All day for sure the first day. Second
Okay.
day, we'll see how it goes. You know,
And
we just
cost?
roll with it. That one's $150.
Well worth every nickel.
Yeah, we have a good time. And there's a couple of snacks involved on that, too.
Or you can break that down and pay $10 an hour for the
We'll charge you every hour. So, thank you so much for listening. Thanks to April. Thanks to Wayne.
Thank
for
you, Lainey.
showing up. Yeah.
Thanks to Lawrence, and thanks
Yeah.
to Lawrence on the keyboards, Beth on the camera. We thank them.
Yeah, thank you guys. You're our cheering team. Thanks to Matt and David for calling in.
Dad, very nice. And stay
And our
tuned
sponsors.
for Vegas Unwrapped. It's coming up next after us. It'll be here at 5 o'clock.
Right. This week, if you're out there and something small happens, this is my gift this week, and I got goosebumps again thinking about it. The smallest thing can bring you the greatest meaning if you're willing to slow down and you're willing to be organized, as Wayne said, you know, and willing to listen to that maybe your guides and angels are talking to you. Know that it's more than what you can taste and touch and
Absolutely.
see and feel. And the greatest meaning in your life will come from the smallest things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll be back next week. And it's going to be Wayne and I, and he doesn't know what's going to happen, and I never tell him.
We'll figure it out next week. Have a blessed week.
Have
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great week.
Namaste.
Bye.
Views and opinions